guys, welcome back to another online lesson for math. I hope you guys have all had a smooth transition to online learning. So in this lesson, we're going to look into the place values of decimals and learn how to round decimals to specific decimal places. So by the end of this lesson, we should all understand the place value of decimals, be able to express basic fractions as decimals, and finally be able to round decimals. Alright, so the video that you guys just watched before this one should go over the key ideas of this lesson pretty well, but I'll just do a quick recap. So a decimal point is used to separate the whole number from the decimal or fraction part, and when dealing with decimals, the place value must be extended to involve tenths, hundreds, and thousands. So let's have a look at this example number here, 428.357. So in this case, the 4 doesn't just equal a 4, it equals 400, so that is 4 times 100, that gives us 400 here. Same with the 2, it's in the tens column, so it means 2 times 10, which gives us a value of 20. And the 8, it's in the ones column, so it's 8 times 1, which gives us a value of 8. This is exactly the same for decimals. So we have 3 in the tenths column. This part is known as tenths, that's hundreds and thousandths. So 3 in the tenths means it is 3 times 1 over 10, which gives us a value of 3 over 10. 5 in the hundredths column is 5 times 1 over 100, which gives us a value of 5 over 100, or 5 hundredths. And the 7 in the thousands column gives us a value of 7 times 1 over 1000, which gives us a value of 7 over 1000, or 7 thousandths. So let's have a go at these example questions here. So let's start with this first one with 8. What is the value of the digit 8 in the following numbers? So 8 is in the tenths column. If you look here, it's in the tenths, so that means it has a value of 8 tenths. So to get that, let's scroll up. We just write 8 in the tenths column, so that gives us 0.8. Remember, tenths column is right after the decimal point, or value of 8 over 10. Either one is fine in this case. Same with here. This time the 8 is in the thousandths. It is 3 places behind the decimal. So in this case, 8 will be where 0.008, or 8 over 1000. Your answer could be either one of these two. Alright, let's have a go at these two questions by yourself. Just pause the video and we'll be doing exactly the same thing, but with the 3. And remember, feel free to ask your math teacher in the video conference if you have any questions. Alright, now that you're back, let's have a go at this one. So what is the value of the digit 3 in the following numbers? Let's have a look where the 3 is in this case. So the 3 is 2 decimal places behind the decimal point. So that means it's not in the tenths column, it's in the hundredths. So we'll write the 3 in the hundreds. So that just gives us 0.03. Or the value is 3 over 100, 300ths. You can write either or both of these, they are both correct. And 9.3507, 3 is in the tenths, so we write the 3 in the tenths, which is 1 behind the decimal place, or it is a value of 3 over 10. Both of these will be correct. Give yourself a tick if you got those two correct. Alright, now moving on, we're going to learn how to express fractions as decimals. So 7 over 10 as a decimal, let's scroll up and have a look here. So 7 over, that will just be in the tenths column. Notice 3 over 10 is just a value of 0.3. So let's have a go at that. 7 over 10 as a decimal would just be 0.7, because remember, another way to read this is 7 tenths, so it just means there is a 7 in the tenth spot there. Alright, now let's have a go at the next one. This one is 5 over 100, or another way to read it is 5 hundredths. I'll just write that here just to make it a little bit more clear. 5 hundredths. Same with this one, 7 tenths. They're just other ways to read the fraction. So 500, that means there is a 5 in the hundredths position here. So remember, the hundredths position was the second place behind the decimal place. So we have the 5 in the hundredths, which gives us a value of 0.05. And this last one to the right here is 3 and 1700. So this time we have a 3 before the decimal place and 17 in the hundredths place. Remember, 17 is The hundreds is 2 places behind the decimal, so we have a 17 in the hundreds. So it will be a value of 3.17 or 3 and 17 hundredths. Alright, so I got another 3 questions here for you guys to do. Exactly the same format as the ones right above. So just pause the video and have a go at these, and once again just feel free to ask your teacher in the online video conference if you do have any questions. Alright, now that you guys are back, let's have a go at these. So the first one says 9 tenths or 9 over 10. So that just means that there is a 9 in the 10th place. So the 10th place was right behind the decimal, so that gives us a value of 0.9. In this case here with 3 hundredths or 3 over 100, so that just means we have 3 in the hundredths position. So hundredths was 2 places behind, so we have 0.03. And this last one we have 4 and 307 thousandths. So 4 is the big number before the decimal place, and we have 307 in the thousands. Remember, thousands was the 3rd place behind the decimal. So we have 1, 2, 3. So 4 and 307 thousandths. Alright, so in this next component here, we're going to learn how to arrange decimals from in ascending order or from smallest to largest. So to do this, we need to look at the decimal from left to right. The smaller the number on the very left, the smaller the decimal will be. So in this case, they all start in the ones, so that means they'll all be similar value, and we need to find the smallest number in the ones. So in this case, I can see that as having these two having the smallest value in the ones column, and then we go to the next one to the right, so we move from left to right. In this case, the 3 is smaller than the 7, so 2.37 will be smaller than 2.73. So these will be our 2 smallest decimals. And then we look for the next smallest number on the very left. In this case, I can see that these 2 numbers that start with the 3, they are smaller than the 7s. So it's going to be either 3.72 or 3.27 that comes next. In this case, we go to the next number on the right. So we look at this number here and that number here. So 2 is smaller than the 7, so that means 3.27 will be the next smallest. And then 3.72 will be the next smallest. And now we only have 2 numbers left. They both start with a 7. And then we move to the next number on the right. 2 is smaller than the 3, so 7.23 is smaller than 7.32. So we write 7.23 first and then 7.32. So that will be those numbers in ascending order. Alright, I hope that makes sense. So let's pause the video here and have a go at writing these numbers in ascending order as well. So the smallest number in this case would be 2.59. This one here, because it doesn't go into the tens. If it goes into the tens, it will be a much bigger number, and it is the smallest number in the ones. So 2.59 comes first. And then we're only going to look in the ones column or ones place for now. So the next smallest number in the ones place is the 5. So our next smallest number will be 5.29. Let's cross that one out. And let's look at the others. Now we have 9.25 and 9.52 that have the same value in the ones. And since they have the same value in the ones, we go to the next number on the right. 5 is bigger than the 2, so that will come after the 9.25. We'll write 9.25 first and then 9.52. Let's cross those out. Wrong one. Now we're left with 2 numbers, 29.5 and 59.2. The 2 in the tens is smaller than the 5 in the tens for this number, so 29.5 will come next. And our biggest number here is 59.2. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Alright, so now that we know the place value of decimals and how to write them in ascending order, we're going to move on to rounding decimals. So rounding decimals involves approximating a decimal number to fewer decimal places. We do this because we don't want to be writing really long decimals every time. So to round a decimal, we cut the number after the required decimal place. So for example, if it asks you to round to 2 decimal places, we're going to cut it right after the second decimal place. 1, 2, so we cut right there. Once we've done that, we're going to determine whether you should round your answer up or down. And when you do this, you consider only the digit immediately to the right of the specified place. And we're going to call this digit the critical digit. So the digit right after the cut, directly to the right, is the 2. So in this case, 2 will be the critical digit. If the critical digit is less than 5, so it is either 1, 2, 3, or 4, then you round the number down. So in this case, the 2 is lower than 5, so we're going to round it down. So if you round that down, we will get 15.63. So this means you write the original number to the place required. So that is the original number. If the critical digit is 5 or more, so I'll give you an example. Let's say the number is 15.63546. So we're going to round this to 2 decimal places again. So we cut after the second one, and in this case the critical digit is 5, so it is 5 or more. It's either 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, so we round up. This means we write the original number to the place required, but increase this digit by 1. So that's the place required, the second decimal place. So we're going to increase that digit by 1, which gives us a value of 15.64. Alright, so let's go through some example questions here. So in this case, we're going to round to 1 decimal place. Sorry about the messy writing that says decimal. So the first decimal place here is the 6 right after the decimal. So we're going to make the cut right after that, and the critical digit in this case is 8. So 8 is above 5, so we have to round that up. So that means we add 1 to that digit, so that becomes 25.7. Same with this one, we'll do the cut right after the first decimal place, and the critical digit will be the 4. That one is lower than 5, so that means we round down and we keep the number the same before that place. So that is just 13.5. Alright, let's pause the video here, have a go at these 2 questions, and just unpause once you've done it and are ready to go through it with me. Alright, now that you're back, let's go through these questions. So 53.741 will make the cut right after the first decimal place. Have a look at the critical digit, that is below 5, so that means you round the number down, giving us a value of 53.7. This case here, we're 4.1837, make the cut right after the first decimal place. Look at the critical digit, that is above 5, so that means we're going to round up. So we add a 1 to the 10th column, so that becomes 4.2. Alright, we're almost done now. We've just got a couple more questions to go through. So this time we're going to round to 3 decimal places. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at that number. We're going to either keep that number the same or change it. So let's make a cut right behind the 7, the 3rd decimal place. So our critical number is the 2. That is lower than 5, so that means we have to round the number down. So that gives us a value of 18.347. Let's go through this one now. Round 0.43917 to 2 decimal places. So we make the cut right after the second decimal place. So make the cut here. Critical number in this case is 9. That is bigger than 5, so we have to round up, meaning our answer will be 0.44. Alright, now let's go through this one to the left here. It says round 7.59967 to 3 decimal places. So same deal. Make a cut right after the third one. So our critical number is the 6. So 6 is bigger than 5, so that means we need to round up. And this one is a little bit different because we have 2 9s next to each other. If we add 1 to a 9, that becomes a 10. So that means we have to move to this next one. So we round that up, that becomes 0. We have to round that one, that also becomes 0. So then we move down 1 more place, and that will become 6. So our answer will be 7.600. This one might be a little bit tricky for some of you, so just feel free to ask any questions. And let's pause the video. We have 3 questions left. Just pause this and have a go at them yourself, and just unpause when you're ready to go through them with me. Alright, so we have 18.62109 to 2 decimal places. Just make the cut right after the second one. That's the critical number. It is smaller than 5, so that means we round it down, giving us a value of 18.62. Now with 3.14159 to 4 decimal places. So we make the cut right after the 4th decimal place. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. The 9, the critical digit here, is bigger than 5, so we round up. So that gives us a value of 3.1416. And last question here. 0.13973 decimal places make the cut right after the third one. That's our critical digit. Once again, it's larger than 5, so we have to round up, giving us a value of 0.140. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. Hopefully you guys now all understand the place value of decimals, can express basic fractions as decimals, and can round decimals. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys back online.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.